Ton 618 is a problem. A black hole so huge, so bright, and so ancient, that it shouldn't exist in the universe we know. Formed too early, grew too fast, and now shines with the power of whole galaxies, even though nothing, not even light, is supposed to escape a black hole. Scientists can't explain how something this massive was already fully grown when the universe was still in its childhood. Ton 618 isn't just enormous. It breaks the rules of cosmic evolution. Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleepy Astronomer. Tonight, we begin our journey into the largest, strangest, and most impossible black holes ever discovered. Colossal objects that stretch our understanding of how the universe builds, shapes, and destroys itself. If these quiet explorations help you drift into curiosity, subscribing to the Sleepy Astronomer would mean the world. It helps this small constellation of dreamers grow, all resting beneath the same endless night. Tonight, we travel toward Ton 618, a black hole so massive that numbers fail to describe it. A monster from the early universe, whose very existence forces astronomers to rethink everything they thought they knew about time, structure, and cosmic growth. So take a slow, deep breath, and let's drift into the darkness together, toward a place where gravity bends reality, and the universe begins to whisper its oldest secrets. This is the Sleepy Astronomer. You begin in darkness, but it is not a fearful darkness. It is soft, like a deep breath held by the universe itself. You float weightlessly in the quiet, letting the stillness settle around your mind. In front of you, there is nothing to see at first, only a velvet black that stretches without end. But as your eyes adjust, or perhaps as your imagination softens, you start to notice a faint shimmer on what feels like the edge of perception. It is not bright. It does not rush. It simply waits, a whisper of light traveling across 100 million lifetimes, moving gently toward you. You do not reach for it. You only watch. The light is old, impossibly old, older than every human memory combined. It left its home before Earth had oceans, before mountains rose, before the first cell dreamed of dividing into two. Yet it comes to you as if it were meant for this moment, as if it had been carrying a quiet message across the dark for eons, saving its final breath for your arrival. You inhale slowly, and the universe seems to inhale with you, widening the space between thoughts so you can hear what the light is trying to say. As you drift closer, the glow becomes clearer. It is not a beam, but a fragment, a small, patient traveler born in a distant corner of the cosmos. It began as energy released from the edge of something massive, something so powerful that space itself curved around it. That force shaped this single photon's journey, launching it outward, letting it escape the gravity that tried to hold it. And since that moment, the light has done only one thing. It has moved forward, step by gentle step, through billions of years of cosmic night. You feel no hurry as you accompany it. Time itself loosens its grip here. Seconds do not march. They float like drifting dust, almost free of meaning. All that matters is the slow pulse of your breath and the quiet presence of this ancient glow. You reach out your awareness, not your hands, and touch the story hidden inside the light. It is a story written not in words, but in wavelengths, stretched, softened, reddened by the expansion of the universe. With every billion years it traveled, the universe grew larger, and the light grew calmer, more diffuse, like a memory fading into a dream yet still holding its truth. The photon tells you of where it came from, a quasar shining with the brilliance of countless suns. A quasar is a beacon, the flame of matter falling toward a supermassive black hole. It is a furnace where gravity and energy blur into something both destructive and beautiful. This light was born there, flung outward from a disk of swirling gas heated to unimaginable temperatures. But the quasar itself has long since changed. Stars have shifted, galaxies have drifted, and everything that once surrounded that radiant place has aged beyond recognition. Only the light remains to tell you what once was. You let this realization sink into your chest, the idea that the universe is full of messages sent long before your world existed. Every star you see is a memory, Every galaxy is a photograph taken millions or billions of years before now. You live inside a museum of ancient light, each piece arriving on its own schedule, shaped by distance and time. And the light in front of you is older than almost anything your species has studied. It carries the signature of something enormous, something so vast that its very existence stretches your understanding. You follow the photon deeper into the quiet. Around you, other threads of light begin to appear. Faint streaks, gentle sparks, each on its own impossible journey. Some come from stars that no longer exist. Some come from galaxies still forming. Some come from clouds of gas collapsing under gravity. Together they create a silent choir, their wavelengths blending into a cosmic lullaby. The universe is not empty. It is full of whispers. You drift through them like a feather carried by an invisible breeze. Your mind softens as you travel. You begin to understand that distance in the universe is not just space, it is time. To look far away is to look into the past. And the farther you look, the younger the universe becomes, until you reach epochs where the first galaxies flickered like candles in a newly born night. The light you follow now comes from such a time. Its source is ancient even by cosmic standards, a quasar so luminous that it could outshine entire galaxies. But its true secret is not its brightness. It is the black hole at its heart. You do not yet see that black hole, but you feel the gravity of its story pulling you onward. Something about it seems impossible. Its mass, its age, its ferocity, all of it challenges what you thought you knew about how the universe grows. The photon guides you with patience. It has traveled across 10.8 billion years to reach you, and it carries a message. That the universe is more mysterious, more creative, and more fearless than human theories sometimes allow. You float through patches of gas, through clusters of galaxies, through emptiness so vast it feels like a dream. The light never rushes. It simply continues. You imagine the early universe where it was born, smaller, denser, filled with heated storms of gas swirling into newly forming structures. That was the age when Tian 618 blazed like a cosmic lighthouse. Back then, its appetite was enormous. Matter spiraled toward it, heating into a blue-white glare bright enough to travel across the entire visible universe. The photon in front of you was part of that blaze, a tiny shard of a colossal fire. You sense the scale without needing numbers. You imagine a weight so great it could swallow entire galaxies. You imagine a gravitational pull so fierce that not even light could escape if it wandered too close. You imagine a black hole so massive that human language struggles to capture it. And somewhere, the truth waits. Tian 618, the monster black hole that should not exist. Not in that era, not with that size, not with that hunger. But the universe often does not grow as gently as human logic expects. It surprises. It leaps. It creates giants when it should still be learning to crawl. And this forgotten photon has been carrying the evidence of that surprise through billions of years of patient travel, waiting for a moment when a curious mind, like yours, might stop and listen. You drift beside the ancient glow for what feels like hours or perhaps lifetimes. There is no urgency. There is only the steady unfolding of understanding. The photon slows, not in speed but in the way you experience it, as if it senses the next truth forming inside you. Tian 618 is not just bright. It is a challenge whispered across the universe. It asks how something so massive appeared so early. It asks what you think you know about cosmic time. It asks whether the universe might be far more daring than your assumptions. You breathe softly, letting these questions settle like dust on a windowsill. Ahead, the darkness deepens into the faintest blue glow, the beginning of the next piece of the story. The photon drifts onward, inviting you to follow, inviting you to listen to the next echo in the cosmic night, where the mystery becomes clearer and the quasar begins to reveal itself. And as you glide forward, you feel the quiet promise that the next chapter, like the next breath, will carry you closer to the echo of something extraordinary. You move through the quiet darkness as if carried by a gentle tide, still following the ancient photon that greeted you in the chapter before. Its soft glow now feels like a companion, a tiny lantern illuminating the long corridor of cosmic history. As you drift, Another truth begins to rise like a faint hum in the background. The realization that this light, fragile as it seems, is not alone. It is part of something larger, something seen long ago by curious eyes on Earth. You let that thought unfold slowly, the way a ripple spreads across still water. In the distance, far behind you through layers of time and dust, sits a small blue planet orbiting an ordinary star. On that world, instruments made of glass, metal, and hope were once pointed at the sky. Astronomers, with their notebooks, their questions, and their sleepless nights, searched the heavens for signs of what the universe was trying to say. They looked for patterns. They looked for faint lines in the spectrum. They looked for hints of brightness that didn't belong. And among the many objects that scattered their charts, one faint dot puzzled them more than most. It shone too brightly for its distance. It flickered too intensely for its size. It behaved in ways no ordinary star ever could. But they did not know its name yet. They only knew its echo. You let yourself drift into their world. A world of observatories perched on mountaintops, domes opening like eyelids to the night, telescopes rotating with delicate precision. You imagine the cold air, the quiet hum of tracking motors, the chalk marks on blackboards. And then you imagine one astronomer, alone beneath a red desk lamp, staring at a set of spectral lines on a sheet of paper. These lines are stretched, shifted, moved so deeply toward the red end of the spectrum that they seem almost wrong. But they aren't wrong at all. They are telling a story of distance so vast that the light has been traveling for billions of years. A story that something incredibly luminous sits at the far edge of the visible universe. You watch the astronomer lean closer, eyebrows tightening, breath slowing. This is the moment when the universe reveals its echo, an echo carried not through sound, but through light distorted by cosmic expansion. And as you float beside this quiet scene, you understand something simple but profound. The universe speaks slowly, and it speaks softly, but when you learn how to listen, even its faintest whispers can reshape everything you think you know. You drift deeper into the story of this detection, guided by the ancient photon you've followed since the beginning. It pulses faintly as if remembering its origin. Its path has taken it past galaxies, past clusters of galaxies, past the drifting sculptures of dark matter. And now, long after its journey began, it is being gathered by lenses and mirrors on a small planet that barely existed when it left home. You imagine its arrival, a tiny flicker caught by a detector, a small pulse recorded as a number that becomes a graph that becomes a question. That question, whispered through labs and universities, was simple. What is this? The object was too bright to be a star, too distant to be a galaxy, too energetic to be explained by anything familiar. Astronomers gave it a name, a quasar, short for quasi-stellar object, meaning a star-like thing that was not a star at all. It was a placeholder name, a reminder that science often begins with uncertainty, with a label that admits gently we do not yet understand. But inside that uncertainty was excitement, a feeling that something enormous waited beneath the data. You feel that excitement now, softened by the rhythm of your breathing. You imagine the early days of quasar research, when the idea of supermassive black holes was still strange and new. When the notion that a black hole could power such brightness seemed almost unbelievable. Yet the evidence grew piece by piece, like stones placed carefully across a river. As you float, your surroundings shift. The darkness around you begins to sparkle with tiny grains of light, each representing a quasar discovered over decades of searching. They shimmer like distant campfires scattered across a vast plain. Some are small, some are enormous, but one among them glows with a subtle, overwhelming intensity. You recognize it immediately, even before you name it. Its light feels ancient, heavier somehow, carrying the weight of something truly colossal. This is the quasar the astronomers found. The one whose spectral lines bent deeper than expected. The one whose brightness came from 10.8 billion years away. The one whose energy output rivaled that of countless galaxies. They labeled it TON 618, a simple catalog number from an old survey, a modest string of letters and digits for an object that defied modesty. You hover in front of that lamp-like glow, feeling both its distance and its intimacy. It is small from here, only a point, but you sense the enormity hidden behind it. Ton 618 did not reveal itself all at once. It emerged slowly, like dawn spreading across a horizon. Astronomers studied it patiently, each new measurement adding another layer to the picture. They analyzed its ultraviolet light. They measured its redshift. They examined the broad emission lines that came from gas swirling near the event horizon of the supermassive black hole at its center. And the more they learned, the more the object resisted explanation. It was massive, far too massive for its age. It was bright, brighter than should have been possible based on known physics. It was distant, so distant that the universe was young when its story began. And every observation whispered the same quiet truth. 21618 was not just another quasar. It was something else. Something extraordinary. Something that should not exist and yet does. You let this truth rest inside you like a warm stone. There is no hurry to understand it fully. You only need to feel the weight of the discovery, the wonder of seeing something impossible stamped across the sky. Science is not just facts. It is the emotion of finding a question that reshapes your sense of scale. The astronomers felt it first. Now you feel it too. You drift closer to the glow of 21618, not physically, but conceptually, as if the story pulls you nearer. The soft light of the quasar spills across your vision, warm and steady, despite the unimaginable violence that created it. You can almost sense the accretion disk humming, swirling, bursting with energy. You can almost see the ionized gas spiraling inward, each particle releasing light before surrendering to gravity. You can almost hear the universe tuning itself to a deeper note, resonant and vast. And yet, from Earth, all of that appears as a single point of light. A dot on a map. A spectral line on a graph. An echo, nothing more. The contrast humbles you. It reminds you that the universe hides giants behind its silences, that the smallest signals can unfold into the largest stories. You breathe slowly, letting that thought settle. Ton 618 began as an echo, faint and strange. But echoes, when listened to carefully, reveal their origins. And now that the echo has reached you, carried by the photon still drifting at your side, you sense that the next step of the journey is not about astronomers anymore. It is about the monster itself, the hidden thing inside the dot. The light around you softens. The photon begins to dim, its story now told. Its final glow turns your attention toward the next mystery. The thing behind the brightness, the creature whose gravity shapes the light. You feel yourself drifting toward that truth, carried by curiosity, carried by calm, carried by the quiet pull of something enormous waiting in the darkness just ahead, where the monster hidden in a dot begins to reveal its shape. You drift closer to the faint point of light, the quasar that has traveled billions of years to meet your eyes. From your vantage, it appears no larger than a pinprick, barely breaking the endless darkness. And yet, within that tiny speck lies something vast beyond imagining. You pause, letting the paradox settle. How can a dot carry a story so enormous? How can such a delicate point hold the weight of billions of suns? You allow your mind to stretch gently around the concept, like expanding a balloon with quiet care. This is the subtle magic of the universe. How scale bends, how light and gravity work together to disguise the truth. Ton 618, that distant quasar, is small in appearance but immense in essence. Its glow comes not from a single star, not from a simple cluster of stars, but from a black hole so massive that human intuition strains to measure it. Around it, a disk of gas whirls at tremendous speeds, heated until it shines brighter than entire galaxies. The light you follow is born of friction, of matter spiraling into an abyss that devours with insatiable appetite. You drift alongside this cosmic dance, imagining the gas orbiting the black hole. Each particle moves in a precise rhythm, influenced by gravity's pull and the momentum of its own journey. As it nears the center, friction heats it to millions of degrees, and it glows fiercely, releasing energy into space. That energy travels unfathomable distances, crossing time and darkness to reach you. You feel the elegance of it, the harmony of destruction and creation coexisting. Even in annihilation, There is beauty, and the universe knows how to paint it with light. From Earth, this complex scene collapses into a single spectral signature. Astronomers measure the width of the emission lines in the light, inferring the speed at which gas orbits the black hole. They use these measurements to calculate its mass, discovering that TON 618 contains roughly 66 billion times the mass of our Sun. Pause here for a moment. Let that number sink. Imagine stacking stars, imagining each like a pearl, until you reach a pile so massive that it defies comprehension. It is almost too large to belong to a universe so young. Yet TON 618 does exist. You trace the light back again, imagining the conditions that allowed such a monster to grow. The early universe was dense with gas, young galaxies collided and merged, and matter was abundant. In these fertile cosmic nurseries, black holes could feed rapidly, swelling faster than expected. Still, the sheer scale of TON 618's mass challenges every simple model. It is a reminder that the universe is inventive, unconstrained by human expectations. Rules may guide formation, but exceptions always emerge, like a giant quietly defying predictions. You feel the pull of gravity in your mind, a gentle tug that hints at the immense energy contained within the black hole. Not just the mass, but the invisible warping of space and time. If you approached the event horizon, time itself would slow, and light would bend in strange, graceful arcs. Inside that boundary, all paths converge into singularity, a place where our understanding of physics collapses and imagination takes over. You let yourself float near that edge conceptually, without fear, simply observing the invisible architecture that shapes the photon you have been following. The photon itself seems to tell you the story of this monstrous dot. It carries information about the speed, temperature, and composition of the gas around the black hole. You feel the history encoded in the light, collisions, heating, radiation, every motion of matter captured in subtle shifts in wavelength. This is not a static object. It is a dynamic, restless engine of energy. Each fraction of light is a heartbeat, a signal traveling across time to inform you that something extraordinary is unfolding far from your home. And yet, you are still removed from danger. You are not consumed. You are allowed to float gently, absorbing the scale and intensity without being overwhelmed. The universe offers perspective. From Earth, from billions of light years away, TON 618 is just a point of light. But within that point lies the record of immense forces, a record of the universe experimenting with extremes. You sense the rhythm of creation and destruction intertwined, each feeding the other, forming a cycle of energy and gravity that continues unbroken. You contemplate how quasars like TON 618 serve as beacons for human understanding. They announce the presence of supermassive black holes that otherwise remain invisible. Through light alone, we detect what cannot be seen. You feel the patience of the cosmos here. It does not reveal everything at once. It offers hints, fragments, and echoes, allowing those willing to follow the light to glimpse the hidden giants within. And in that revelation, there is awe, soft and meditative, perfect for a mind preparing to drift into sleep. As you explore the quasar's surroundings, you notice how the black hole affects its galaxy. Its energy drives winds of ionized gas, shaping star formation across its domain. Even from this distance, you sense the subtle power of influence, the quiet authority of an object that, though hidden in a dot, dictates the behavior of everything around it. TON 618 is a sculptor of light and matter, invisible to direct sight yet impossible to ignore once its effects reach across the universe. You linger on the thought that the universe is full of such hidden giants. Most remain unseen, waiting for curious minds and sensitive instruments to reveal them. TON 618 is remarkable because we can measure it, because its light traveled billions of years to whisper its existence to human eyes. You imagine other quasars, other black holes, scattered across the cosmos, each holding stories beyond current comprehension. The night sky is far richer than your eyes alone could detect. And yet, you are invited to witness a fragment, to let a single point of light tell its story in gentle waves of understanding. You follow the photon a little farther, feeling the faint tug of momentum, the echo of its origin in the quasar's furious orbit. Time seems to stretch and slow, like honey dripping in a sunlit room. You sense the patience of the universe, its calm persistence, its ability to preserve signals over billions of years. Ton 618 is a reminder that even the most violent objects can communicate gently across the void. Light can travel through emptiness, carrying truth without rushing, arriving exactly when it is ready. And now, as the glow softens into a distant shimmer, you realize the quasar is no longer just a dot. It has become a gateway, a doorway into understanding, into scale, into the immense forces that govern the cosmos. You feel that the next step of the journey will take you inward, closer to the heart of Ton 618, into the heat and energy that gives birth to the light you have been following. You prepare yourself to drift further, to let gravity and matter and energy unfold their secrets in quiet, meditative revelation. And as you hover in the gentle stillness, letting the enormity settle, you sense that what is hidden behind the dot, the monster at the center of the quasar, is about to step fully into view, revealing truths about scale, energy, and the daring creativity of the universe that no one expected. The story is far from over, and the next chapter beckons with the promise of fire and gravity entwined in a cosmic dance. You float closer now, guided by the quiet pulse of light that has carried you across billions of years. Ton 618 is no longer a distant. It is a presence you feel, an invisible weight in the fabric of the universe. The photon you have followed bends slightly in your mind's eye, as if responding to the immense gravity waiting at the center of the quasar. You sense the pull, not with your body, but with your awareness, the gentle tug of something both terrifying and exquisite. It is not dangerous here. It is simply patient, waiting for you to notice its invisible architecture. Around the black hole, space curves. It bends in ways that your intuition struggles to grasp. A straight path is no longer straight. Time flows differently at different distances. You imagine a cosmic river, smooth and calm far away, but churning and distorted near the edge, where gravity drinks even light. Colors stretch, twist, and melt. A watercolor painting shaped by forces you cannot touch but can feel. You watch the accretion disk, spinning at tremendous speed, gas and dust heated until it glows with unimaginable brilliance. Each particle has a story, each motion a whisper in the dark. You drift along the rim of the disk, observing how matter behaves as it spirals inward. Friction and compression heat it to millions of degrees, and photons are released, racing outward, racing toward your eyes across unfathomable distances. These photons, born of destruction, become your guides. You see streams of light twisting as if space itself were a lens, bending the paths of these travelers before they escape the gravitational maelstrom. You feel the rhythm of the process. Draw in, heat up, emit, escape. It is a cycle both violent and mesmerizing. The gravity of Ton 618 is different from smaller black holes. It stretches farther, bends more deeply. You imagine standing at the edge of its event horizon, a conceptual boundary where not even light can escape, and you feel time dilating, slowing, stretching. Seconds near the edge feel like hours elsewhere. Events that would seem brief at a distance unfold with drawn-out elegance here. You sense the universe expanding and contracting simultaneously, space and time entwined in a slow, silent waltz around a singularity whose mass defies expectation. You wonder how something could grow so large, so fast. Ton 618 did not emerge gradually like most black holes. It fed on surrounding matter with voracious intensity, swallowing gas clouds, consuming nearby stars, drawing in the echoes of colliding galaxies. You picture this feeding process as a gentle spiral from your vantage, as if the black hole is patient, deliberate, waiting for the universe to deliver its nourishment. Each photon you follow tells of matter accelerating, heating, shining, and finally surrendering itself to the abyss. The dance is graceful, even in its destructiveness. You imagine the accretion disk up close. The gas rotates at speeds approaching a fraction of light's velocity. Magnetic fields twist and snap, flinging particles outward, generating jets that stream across intergalactic space. These jets shine across the universe, bright enough to illuminate the darkness between galaxies. You feel the poetry in it, how the black hole's hunger creates light, and how light becomes the messenger of what is hidden from direct view. Ton 618 becomes both monster and artist, painting the cosmos with its appetite. Time slows further as you let the dynamics settle in your mind. Each movement of gas is precise, dictated by the invisible geometry of gravity and the physics of pressure and magnetism. You sense the order in chaos, the patterns forming naturally, effortlessly, without human intervention. The black hole does not plan, yet everything unfolds according to the laws of the universe. You float within this meditative chaos, noticing that the destruction itself is a form of creation, that light born from consumption carries beauty across the void. The photon you follow continues its journey outward, escaping the grip of gravity that binds its siblings near the horizon. You sense the difference between light-trapped and light-free. The trapped photons spin endlessly, circling until some eventual fate, while those that escape carry the history of their origin. You breathe in the subtle lesson. The universe preserves its stories, even in the harshest of conditions, and light is patient enough to deliver them to those willing to observe. You feel TON 618 scale not just in mass, but in its gravitational influence. It shapes the movement of stars around it, the orbits of gas in its host galaxy, even the distribution of matter far beyond the visible boundaries. You imagine this influence like a ripple in water, extending silently, invisibly, yet unmistakably. Each ripple is slow, subtle, and cumulative, shaping the universe over eons. And in that shaping, TON 618 becomes not just a monster, but a sculptor molding the structure of its cosmic neighborhood. You sense the interplay of energy and gravity in delicate balance. Too much matter falling at once, and the black hole emits jets powerful enough to expel surrounding gas, slowing its own growth. Too little, and it grows patiently, silently, almost invisibly. Ton 618 somehow managed the impossible, feeding at rates that allowed it to balloon to unimaginable mass in a young universe. You imagine the early cosmos, chaotic, dense with matter, providing the perfect conditions for such extraordinary growth. And you feel awe, not just at the numbers, but at the universe's ability to create what seems impossible. The light reaching you now is shaped by all of these processes. You feel the gravitational redshift stretching its color, carrying subtle hints of motion, temperature, and composition. You sense that this light is a record, a diary of forces too massive to witness directly. Each wave is a whisper from the quasar's heart, telling of energy released, of matter destroyed, of the slow patience of gravity bending space around it. You feel connected to the photon, to TON 618, and to the universe's quiet storytelling. As you float, you realize that black holes like TON 618 are teachers. They show what gravity can do when unrestrained. They reveal the limits of energy, time, and mass. They remind you that the cosmos is vast, creative, and sometimes defiant of expectation. You allow yourself to marvel at this wisdom, absorbing it like sunlight on your skin. The universe is patient, deliberate, and filled with forces far beyond human comprehension, yet accessible to quiet observation. You let the scene settle, watching the accretion disk spin, the jets extend, the surrounding stars bend subtly under the pull of gravity. The black hole is both invisible and unmistakable, hidden within a blaze of light yet impossible to ignore. Ton 618 is a paradox. Small in appearance, massive in reality, destructive in action, beautiful in effect. A monster that feeds, yet a storyteller that speaks softly through the light it cannot contain. And now, as you drift further from the immediate glow, you sense the gentle transition ahead. Ton 618's brilliance is a fire that should not exist, a beacon that defies conventional understanding of energy and growth. You feel curiosity rising softly, not urgent, but insistent enough to carry you forward. Beyond the gravitational spectacle, beyond the bending of space and time, awaits the story of the quasar's fire, the radiant energy that escapes, the brilliance that challenges the very physics you thought you understood. You inhale slowly, letting the warmth of understanding and wonder settle within. TUN 618 is more than a black hole. It is a furnace, a forge, a cosmic engine whose light reaches across time to whisper truths to you. And as you drift gently onward, you sense that the next chapter will reveal that fire, the extraordinary brilliance, the heat, the light that emerges from gravity's relentless embrace, in a way that softens awe into quiet comprehension. The universe stretches ahead, patient and infinite, as if inviting you to follow the photons and the story, toward the fire that should not burn, toward the light that defies reason, where TUN 618 begins to reveal the brilliance of its impossible existence. You drift slowly, carried by the invisible currents of space, and you let your mind follow the brilliance of TUN 618. The quasar no longer appears as a distant dot. Instead, you sense its energy as a soft glow expanding in all directions, subtle yet overwhelming. The fire within the black hole's accretion disk seems to pulse, a heartbeat of matter meeting gravity, of energy being born where nothing else could survive. You imagine it as a lantern in the vastness, a light that has traveled across billions of years to speak gently to you. The particles orbiting the black hole move with incredible velocity, spinning faster as they approach the event horizon. Friction among them heats them to temperatures far beyond what ordinary stars can reach. You feel the warmth in your imagination, not as heat, but as a resonance, a rhythm that hums in time with the universe. This energy radiates outward, carrying with it the memory of every collision, every compression, every spark of matter stretching before yielding to gravity's pull. You notice how the light behaves. Its color has been shifted, stretched by the expansion of space, altered subtly by the gravitational field near the black hole. You imagine the photons as tiny messengers, each one carrying a record of violence transformed into brilliance. The fire of TUN 618 is not chaotic. It is ordered, precise, shaped by the geometry of gravity and the dynamics of matter in motion. You feel the elegance in the destruction, the poetry in the process, the gentle clarity in a phenomenon so extreme it seems impossible. As you drift, you consider the scale of energy involved. TUN 618 releases energy equivalent to trillions of suns. You pause to feel that number softly, letting your mind stretch around the concept without rushing. It is hard to imagine, yet here it is, quietly illuminating the darkness, teaching patience. The universe does not demand understanding instantly. It allows the mind to arrive slowly, one careful thought at a time, as if guiding you toward a deeper comprehension of its rhythms. You sense the interplay of forces. Gravity draws matter inward, shaping the accretion disk. Pressure and heat push outward, emitting light and sometimes powerful jets. Magnetism twists and channels particles along invisible lines, flinging them into intergalactic space. Each force interacts with the others, producing a luminous tapestry that radiates across billions of light years. You feel as if you are floating inside this tapestry, weightless, carried by currents you cannot see but intuitively understand. The light reaching you is ancient, having begun its journey long before humans ever looked up. You sense that it has witnessed cosmic history, the merging of galaxies, the collapse of stars, the slow growth of the black hole itself. Each photon is a historian, bearing witness to the relentless work of gravity, the forging of energy, the careful, patient construction of brilliance in a universe that often seems indifferent but is, in fact, incredibly meticulous. You feel honored to share even a moment with this light, to float in its gentle glow. You imagine the quasar's jets, streams of plasma launched at near-light speed from the poles of the black hole. They stretch across space like twin ribbons, carrying energy and matter far from the center, shaping the environment of the galaxy. You sense their rhythm, the way they pulse as if breathing, expanding and contracting in cycles determined by the black hole's consumption. These jets, though violent in nature, are silent across the cosmic void, and you feel their presence softly, like a whisper brushing past your consciousness. The fire of TUN 618 is remarkable not just in brightness but in persistence. It has burned, steadily, for millions of years, sustained by a supply of gas and stars falling into the black hole's gravity well. You imagine the patience required to sustain such an inferno, the quiet accumulation of matter, the slow balancing of forces. There is no hurry here. Time flows differently in your meditation, stretching to accommodate the rhythm of the quasar's fire. You feel calm, aware, and present in the midst of an energy so immense it almost defies comprehension. You think of human eyes trying to measure this brilliance. Telescopes capture the photons and translate them into numbers, graphs, spectra, maps. Scientists puzzle over these data, slowly uncovering the patterns hidden within. They infer mass, velocity, composition, temperature, and yet, each measurement only hints at the true scale. TUN 618, in its quiet way, teaches humility. It reminds you that understanding comes gently, in layers over time. The universe does not demand instant comprehension. It invites patient observation, the kind that prepares the mind for wonder rather than surprise. As you float, you notice subtle changes in the glow. The light flickers, shaped by turbulence in the accretion disk, by collisions among particles, by shifts in magnetic fields. You imagine these flickers as the heartbeat of the quasar, a slow, rhythmic signal that carries information across billions of years. Each variation is a note in a cosmic melody, a whisper of the complex dynamics taking place near the edge of the black hole. You sense the melody as a soft pulse in your awareness, calming and yet intellectually engaging, perfect for quiet reflection. You feel the paradox. This fire is born of destruction. Matter approaches the event horizon and vanishes. Yet before disappearing, it radiates light, becomes information, becomes beauty. TUN 618 embodies extremes. The small pinprick of a quasar contains unimaginable mass. The act of annihilation produces brilliance, and gravity's most violent actions become messages that traverse the universe. You sense a harmony here, a meditative rhythm, a balance between chaos and order, between darkness and light. The fire that should not burn also illuminates the concept of time. TUN 618's light tells of a universe younger than our own, where black holes could grow so rapidly and galaxies were still forming their first stars. You sense that every photon you observe is a bridge between epochs, a witness to the early universe's creativity and daring. The quasar's brilliance is not only a spectacle. It is a teacher, showing how energy, matter, and gravity interact over unimaginable scales and durations. You let the warmth of this understanding settle within you. The light does not rush. It simply exists, persistent and patient, a cosmic lullaby traveling across the dark. You notice how the photon's journey mirrors your own journey through awareness, how observation and reflection are entwined with the patterns of the cosmos. The brilliance of TUN 618 becomes a metaphor for understanding itself. Slow, steady, luminous, and impossible to fully capture at first glance. And as you float near the edge of perception, you feel the gentle pull of the next truth. TUN 618 is not just a point of fire. It is a cosmic experiment in scale, energy, and gravity. Its existence challenges expectations, teaches patience, and invites contemplation. You sense that the next chapter will take you even closer to the quasar's core, to the heart of the black hole, where fire, gravity, and energy entwine in a delicate, terrifying, and beautiful balance. The universe stretches quietly before you, infinite and patient, its secrets revealed only to those who listen. The fire of TUN 618 burns steadily across time and space, a whisper across billions of years. You breathe in its warmth and prepare to drift further, knowing that the next chapter will reveal the hidden mechanics of the monster, the gravity that consumes, the energy that escapes, and the delicate, meditative truth of a fire that should not exist, yet burns with cosmic patience. You drift into contemplation, letting the enormity of TUN 618 settle into your mind like soft sediment. You have been following light, traveling across space, witnessing the fire of matter and the gentle pull of gravity. But now you must confront the true measure of what lies behind that glow. 66 billion suns. The number stretches like a bridge into the impossible, each sun a bead in a necklace strung across the universe. You let yourself imagine the weight, not in numbers, not in statistics, but as a feeling, a presence that hums softly in your consciousness. You try to visualize it. You imagine a single sun, glowing in space, immense yet familiar. You place one beside another, patiently, slowly, stacking them like luminous spheres in the dark. 1,000 suns. 10,000. 1,000,000. Your mind reels yet continues. The stack grows taller, longer, stretching across light years, bending around galaxies, twisting subtly in the invisible curves of spacetime. You feel a faint dizziness in your awareness, not from fear, but from realizing the sheer scale of what gravity can contain. Ton 618's mass is not just a number. It is a force that shapes everything around it. You sense its pull in your imagination, the way it tugs at distant stars, subtly guiding their orbits. You picture the galaxy hosting the quasar, slowly responding to the gravitational weight of its center. The stars trace arcs influenced by the black hole's presence, their light bending, subtly shifted, like ripples on a cosmic pond. And you realize, the monster at the center is not isolated. It is a sculptor, quietly shaping the matter around it over billions of years. You pause, letting the concept of mass dissolve into sensation. Numbers fade, leaving only awe. 66 billion suns, the mind cannot hold it, but the heart can. You feel the calm weight in your imagination, the slow, insistent pull, the quiet patience required to accumulate such mass. Ton 618 did not grow overnight. It gathered, consumed, and persisted across epochs. There is a gentle rhythm to its appetite, a slow and steady draw of matter that eventually becomes a force of unparalleled magnitude. You float in that rhythm, at once small and profoundly connected to the scale of the cosmos. You consider the early universe, dense with gas and young stars, chaotic yet fertile. In such an environment, black holes could feed rapidly. But even among these conditions, TON 618 is exceptional. It defies expectations, a reminder that the cosmos is inventive, playful, and sometimes extreme. You imagine the invisible history of collisions, mergers, and infalls, each event a quiet offering to the black hole's growth. Every gas cloud, every star nudged too close, every ripple of dark matter becomes a part of the story, contributing to a mass beyond comprehension. You sense the effect of that mass on space itself. Ton 618 bends spacetime with authority. Orbits curve, light bends, and time stretches near the event horizon. You imagine drifting close to that invisible boundary, feeling time slow, seconds lengthen into minutes, minutes into hours. Gravity is no longer an abstract force. It is tangible, a presence you can feel with your mind. You sense the curvature of reality around you, subtle and profound, as if the very fabric of existence leans toward this massive, unseen center. You think of stacking suns again, but now differently. Instead of counting, you imagine each sun leaving a faint mark on the universe as it contributes its mass. Each addition subtly reshapes the space around it, a soft pulse in the continuum. One after another, the suns fold into TON 618, adding weight and influence, until the scale becomes a living concept rather than a statistic. You feel the enormity as a hum beneath your awareness, a quiet vibration, a lullaby of gravitational authority. The number 66 billion becomes a sensation, a slow wave moving across your mind. You reflect on what it means for the limits of cosmic growth. Ton 618 is a black hole, yes, but it is also a challenge to understanding. It stretches theories, pushes boundaries, and demonstrates that the universe sometimes exceeds its own rules. You feel a gentle thrill in the realization, not sharp or urgent, but like a warm glow spreading in your chest. There is a quiet elegance in this defiance, a teaching in its sheer scale, that the cosmos has patience, persistence, and the capacity to surprise even in the earliest epochs. You imagine the photons escaping from near the event horizon. Each carries a record of the immense forces at play, traveling across billions of light years to reach your perception. You sense their journey as a slow pulse, each wave a whisper of the black hole's influence. Light itself becomes a narrative, carrying knowledge of matter accelerated, compressed, and radiated into space. You feel a gentle intimacy with these photons, as if the black hole and you are communicating across time and distance in quiet dialogue, mediated by energy and gravity. You sense the difference between mass and presence. Ton 618 is not just heavy, it is consequential. Its mass dictates the behavior of its galaxy, the formation of stars, and the motion of gas clouds. You imagine galaxies responding to this invisible center, their shapes subtly guided by forces they cannot see. You feel a rhythm emerging, the dance of structure around an unseen giant, slow, deliberate, almost meditative. Ton 618 is not merely a consumer of matter. It is a conductor of cosmic motion, a silent engineer orchestrating the evolution of its surroundings. You let yourself dwell on this for a moment. The scale is impossible, yet the feeling is gentle. You float in the awareness that some forces are so large, so patient, that they cannot be rushed. Ton 618 grew over eons, consuming, shaping, persisting, while the universe itself expanded around it. You sense a soft analogy to your own inner awareness. Growth, accumulation, influence, all unfolding slowly, quietly, inevitably. The black hole story is not violent. It is inevitable, a patient consequence of cosmic order. You contemplate the human attempt to grasp such magnitude. Astronomers calculate, model, and observe, translating light into numbers and spectra. But no formula can fully capture the feeling of 66 billion suns. You sense that the mind must bend to the concept, letting awe take over where calculation cannot reach. Ton 618 teaches that comprehension is more than numbers. It is sensation, reflection, and quiet wonder. You let yourself float in that lesson, feeling a calm curiosity stretching outward like light escaping gravity's pull. You imagine approaching the event horizon conceptually. You do not cross, but you sense its shape, the invisible boundary where matter disappears and light cannot escape. You feel the slow, inevitable pull of the singularity, not as danger, but as an invitation to understanding. Ton 618's mass, so vast and patient, exerts influence not only on its surroundings but also on your imagination. You sense space bending, time stretching, and thought slowing to accommodate the impossible. You breathe in the quiet rhythm of cosmic scale, and as you float there, letting mass and gravity wash over you, you feel the gentle awareness that this black hole is more than an object. It is a benchmark, a measure of possibility. 66 billion suns stacked conceptually reveal limits, yet also hint at what might lie beyond expectation. Ton 618 is a teacher of scale, patience, and awe. You sense that the journey is far from over. Beyond mass lies growth, beyond growth lies history, and beyond history lies the story of how the universe manages to create such extraordinary giants in its infancy. You drift gently, the calm weight of 66 billion suns settling into your awareness. Numbers dissolve into intuition, statistics into sensation, and the enormity of Ton 618 becomes a quiet hum, a presence that shapes both galaxies and your imagination. You feel the next chapter approaching, where the black hole's growth will be explored. How it came to be so large, so fast, defying expectations, yet obeying the subtle, patient rules of the cosmos. The mind slows, yet curiosity remains, carried softly forward by the quiet weight of stars. You breathe slowly, letting the enormity become meditative rather than overwhelming. Ton 618 exists not just as mass, but as a story of accumulation, persistence, gravity, and cosmic patience. And as you prepare to drift onward, you sense that understanding this weight is only the beginning. Beyond the sheer mass lies the question of growth, the puzzle of how such a monster could emerge in a universe still young. And with that gentle thought, you float toward the next chapter, ready to explore the mystery of growing up too fast. You drift in space, the hum of distant light filling your awareness, and consider beginnings. Black holes often start small, seeds planted in the early universe. You imagine them like tiny embers, each born from the collapse of a massive star, fragile yet destined to grow. Around them, gas and dust swirl, feeding slowly, measured in millions of years. You feel the rhythm of this growth, patient and steady, the universe's quiet way of shaping giants without rushing, without haste. Yet TON 618 is different. It does not follow this gentle, slow path. Its mass, unimaginable and immense, hints at an origin that seems almost impatient. You imagine a small black hole, surrounded by clouds of gas, eating steadily over eons. In comparison, TON 618 appears to have swallowed faster, consuming with a voracity that challenges your understanding. You sense a tension between expectation and reality, a gentle discomfort that draws your curiosity further inward. You explore the idea of seed black holes. Typically, the remnants of massive stars collapse under their own weight, leaving behind a compact point of extraordinary density. These seeds are small in comparison to their future selves, yet filled with potential. You picture one forming, gas spiraling around it, a slow dance of accretion. Over billions of years, the black hole grows, patiently gathering mass, obeying the subtle rules of physics. The process is calm, almost meditative in its persistence, yet entirely inadequate to explain TON 618's rapid ascent. Your mind drifts through growth rates, through the limits imposed by light and pressure. The Eddington limit dictates how quickly a black hole can accrete matter before radiation pushes it away. You imagine matter falling inward, colliding, heating, emitting photons that push back. Growth is tempered, controlled, balanced by forces unseen. You sense the gentle negotiation between appetite and resistance, a conversation played out in photons and gravity, slow enough to allow reflection, slow enough to let the universe breathe. TON 618, however, appears to have grown beyond these bounds. You consider super Eddington accretion, a process where black holes feed faster than the supposed limit. You picture matter plunging inward despite radiation's push, flowing like a river that finds cracks and channels in the universe's structure. It is not violent in your mind's eye, but extraordinary, a bending of expectation, a challenge to rules long thought absolute. You feel the thrill of possibility, tempered by calm reflection, letting your awareness stretch without straining. You think of direct collapse stars, massive primordial giants collapsing directly into black holes without supernovae, a shortcut, a fast track to scale. You imagine them as rare cosmic events, producing seeds far larger than the ordinary stellar remnant. Could TON 618 have started this way? Perhaps. Yet even with such beginnings, you sense the universe stretching its patience. The black hole's mass still seems extreme, almost impossible for its age. You float in the wonder of this contradiction, the young universe producing something so enormous, so fast, yet not violating the subtle elegance of cosmic laws entirely. You feel the passage of time around these processes. The early universe is turbulent, dense with gas, alive with collisions and mergers. You imagine streams of matter flowing into nascent black holes, feeding, merging, growing. TON 618 must have been unusually fortunate, bathed in dense clouds, perhaps nudged by early galactic interactions. Yet even this scenario does not satisfy completely. The sheer scale, the rapid growth, hints at mechanisms still unseen, forces still to be understood. You feel curiosity as a gentle companion, guiding you rather than pressing urgency upon you. You picture the flow of matter into TON 618. Gas, stars, dark matter, all subtly guided by gravity toward the invisible center. You feel this not as chaos but as rhythm, a slow, deliberate accumulation. Each particle falling inward contributes to a story billions of years in the making. You sense the tension between speed and patience, between the young age of the universe and the mature mass of the black hole. The mind struggles, yet the heart accepts the paradox, appreciating the beauty of a universe capable of producing something so extraordinary. You reflect on the role of chance in cosmic growth. Mergers, collisions, and dense gas clouds may have nudged TON 618 along its accelerated path. Yet chance is subtle here, a quiet hand guiding processes over vast scales. You sense a meditative balance. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, yet the outcome seems improbable. You drift within this awareness, letting numbers and equations dissolve into feeling, letting the imagination trace the journey of mass toward the insatiable gravity well. You notice the contrast with other black holes. Many grow slowly, small seeds feeding patiently, shaping galaxies quietly. TUN 618 is a herald, a remarkable exception. You sense its presence across the universe, a node of influence, shaping matter, energy, and light with authority. Yet its story is still tethered to cosmic rules. It does not violate physics. It stretches them gently, nudging your understanding of possibility without breaking the underlying rhythm. You feel a soft humility in the face of this subtle defiance. You imagine observing this growth from nearby, without crossing the event horizon. You would see matter spiraling inward, light stretching, temperature rising, magnetic fields guiding motion. Each process is extreme yet understandable, beautiful yet relentless. You feel the calm within the complexity, the meditative quality of forces interacting over eons. TUN 618 grows rapidly, yet the universe allows the growth as a natural consequence of density, mass, and the subtle flows of cosmic structure. You consider the young universe hosting such a monster. Galaxies are forming, stars igniting, matter coalescing. TUN 618 exists as a sentinel of scale, a reminder that even in early epochs the cosmos can surprise. You sense wonder not as excitement but as gentle awe, a soft appreciation of magnitude and patience intertwined. The black hole's growth becomes a quiet lesson in the extraordinary potential inherent in ordinary laws, stretched across time and space. And as you float, you feel the inevitability of questions unfolding. How could TUN 618 reach this size so quickly? What conditions made it possible? You sense that exploration of these questions will take you deeper into the early universe, to a time when the first structures formed, when the cosmic canvas was still being painted. You let curiosity linger softly, without urgency, as if preparing your awareness for the journey ahead. The story of growth of accelerated scale unfolds gently in your mind. TUN 618 is not just a black hole. It is a reflection of the young universe's capacity for wonder. You feel the quiet rhythm of creation, the interplay of mass, time, and gravity, the delicate negotiation of limits and possibilities. The black hole is patient and persistent, a teacher in the language of scale, showing how the improbable can arise naturally from conditions both subtle and extraordinary. You sense the next step approaching, to travel backward in time, to witness the young universe itself, almost 10 billion years ago. You feel the need to see the context in which TUN 618 emerged, to understand not just the black hole, but the world it inhabited, the dawn of cosmic structure that allowed such a giant to form. Your mind drifts forward, yet gently, like a leaf on a slow current, toward the light of Chapter 8, a light from the dawn of everything. And in this quiet meditation, you carry with you the feeling of accelerated growth, the awe of impossible scale, and the calm curiosity of a mind prepared to meet the young cosmos. The universe stretches before you, infinite, patient, and full of wonder, inviting you to drift further into the mysteries of early time and the light that reveals them. You drift backward in time, following the path of ancient light. Each photon you encounter has traveled across billions of years, carrying with it whispers of the universe's infancy. The stars you once imagined stacking beside TUN 618 fade into younger, smaller forms. Galaxies are nascent, delicate, still gathering their first stars. The universe feels quieter, softer, yet alive with potential. You sense the fragility of beginnings, the careful patience with which matter finds its rhythm in the emptiness. As you approach the epoch nearly 10 billion years ago, TUN 618 already exists. Its brilliance reaches out across space, defying the young age of the cosmos. You feel a gentle dissonance. The black hole is too large, too mature for a universe still in its adolescence. You sense the weight of possibility here, the extraordinary conditions that allowed something so vast to emerge so early. Time itself feels elastic, bending softly around the enormity of this realization. You imagine the early universe as a vast, diffuse canvas. Clouds of gas drift like wisps, slowly coalescing under gravity's quiet influence. Tiny fluctuations, the fingerprints of primordial energy, guide the formation of the first stars and galaxies. You float among them, feeling the slow pulse of creation, the rhythm of atoms gathering, of light igniting. Each spark is small, yet cumulative, each moment contributing to structures that will later host giants like TON 618. The process is gentle, incremental, yet capable of astonishing outcomes. The light reaching you carries evidence of this youth. Spectra reveal elements, hydrogen, helium, traces of lithium, the universe's first ingredients. You feel these elements as soft textures, like threads weaving through the emptiness, waiting to form stars, planets, and eventually life. The cosmos is still learning how to assemble complexity, experimenting with density and gravity, testing the limits of formation. TON 618 is a product of this experimentation, a reminder that even in youth, the universe can create something extraordinary. You sense the tension between time and growth. Black holes usually require patience, slowly accreting mass over billions of years. Yet TON 618 is already enormous. You imagine rivers of gas flowing into its gravitational well, colliding, heating, spiraling inward. The young universe must have been dense in the right places, a cosmic laboratory where matter was funneled efficiently, allowing rapid growth. You float in this visualization, feeling the gentle push of gravity shaping history in ways both predictable and astonishing. You consider the galaxies around TON 618. They are small, uneven, still forming their first stars. You imagine their gravitational influence, the way they feed the central black hole through interactions, collisions, and streams of matter. TON 618 seems to sit at a focal point of cosmic structure, an anchor in a turbulent environment. Yet it does not dominate everything. The universe is young, and other galaxies are forming independently, their own rhythms unfolding alongside the giant. You sense harmony in this coexistence, a calm order within potential chaos. You reflect on how light informs your understanding. Every photon from that epoch carries information, subtle shifts revealing temperature, velocity, and composition. You feel the light as a gentle current, conveying knowledge across unimaginable distance and time. Through it, you see the rapid formation of TON 618, a puzzle piece in the broader picture of cosmic evolution. You sense that observation itself is a meditative act, a patient listening, a slow unraveling of the universe's story, layer by layer. The early universe is full of contrasts. Some regions are dense, collapsing into stars and black holes, while others remain diffuse, silent, and still. You imagine TON 618's surroundings, rich in material and opportunity, guiding its accelerated growth. The cosmic web stretches outward, threads of dark matter and gas converging, forming channels that direct matter toward the black hole. You feel the gentle inevitability of this process, the quiet orchestration of gravity shaping the conditions that allow giants to form. You sense the extraordinary speed at which TON 618 matured. The young universe is only a fraction of its current age, yet here lies a black hole defying expectations. You float through the paradox, letting awe settle into calm reflection. Growth this rapid is unusual, yes, but not impossible. You imagine subtle conditions aligning. Dense regions, ample gas supply, and perhaps mechanisms yet unknown. Each possibility becomes a soft note in a cosmic symphony, a gentle reminder that the universe is capable of both patience and acceleration. You consider how early galaxies merged, providing opportunities for rapid black hole growth. Collisions can funnel gas into the center, feeding the black hole efficiently. You picture two young galaxies brushing past each other, stars and gas responding to mutual gravity, streams of matter flowing inward like water in a channel. TON 618 may have taken advantage of such interactions, growing quickly, yet in a way that obeys the laws of physics. You sense that this growth is both extraordinary and natural, a testament to cosmic ingenuity. The early universe is a laboratory of extremes. Density, gravity, and time converge to allow phenomena that might seem impossible to us. You feel TON 618 as an expression of this laboratory, a result of conditions that are rare but not forbidden. The black hole is a clue, a whisper of the extraordinary potential embedded in the fabric of space-time. You sense the quiet thrill of discovery, not as excitement, but as meditative appreciation for the subtle complexities at play. You notice how quickly stars appear, ignite, and die in this young universe. Their life cycles feed the black hole, seeding it with heavy elements, adding mass in gentle increments. You feel the rhythm of star birth and death as a slow pulse, each event contributing to TON 618's growth. You sense that even in the universe's infancy, the cycles of matter and energy are carefully orchestrated, unfolding in patterns both delicate and resilient. Growth is rapid, yet measured, a balance between chaos and order. You reflect on the lessons this early light offers. TON 618's presence challenges your assumptions about speed and scale in the young universe. You sense that the cosmos is more inventive, more capable, and more patient than you might imagine. Every photon, every collision, every flow of matter is a gentle nudge toward understanding. You float in awareness, feeling the calm exhilaration of encountering something that stretches comprehension, yet fits seamlessly into the fabric of reality. You drift further, letting the young universe unfold around you. Gas clouds swirl, galaxies form, and the first black holes feed quietly. TON 618 shines like a beacon, a point of clarity in the vast expanse, signaling that even in the earliest epochs, the cosmos can produce wonders beyond expectation. You feel gratitude for the ability to witness this, even imaginatively, to sense the alignment of conditions that gave rise to something so extraordinary. And as you float among the early stars, you sense the next question forming. Not just how TON 618 grew so quickly, but how the universe itself enabled such growth. What cosmic architects, unseen and patient, orchestrated this dance? You feel a gentle pull toward the processes, the structures, and the forces shaping the black hole's surroundings. Your mind is calm, curious, and open, ready to explore the quiet engineers that built the framework for TON 618 in Chapter 9, the quiet engineers of the cosmos. You breathe deeply, letting time, gravity, and light settle around you. The universe is young, yet full of lessons. TON 618 stands as a reminder that the cosmos can surprise, that growth can outpace expectation, and that even in the dawn of everything, extraordinary phenomena emerge. You drift forward gently, letting the calm wonder of this realization carry you to the next chapter, where the silent architects of the cosmos will reveal their patient, powerful work. You float gently, tracing the faint glow of galaxies in the distant past, and begin to sense the silent rhythm of cosmic engineering. Gravity whispers to gas and dust, guiding clouds of matter across empty space. Dark matter halos stretch invisibly around forming galaxies, shaping their structure, anchoring the young universe with patient authority. You feel their presence like a slow heartbeat beneath the luminous veil of stars, a rhythm that governs motion, structure, and growth. You imagine a young galaxy drifting in the darkness, its stars forming from swirling clouds of hydrogen and helium. Around it, an invisible scaffold of dark matter holds the galaxy together, shaping its rotation and contours. You sense that this framework, unseen yet essential, provides the environment that allows black holes like TON 618 to grow. You drift among these forces, feeling their subtle orchestration, their quiet persistence across eons, and begin to perceive the invisible hands that mold cosmic evolution. Gas clouds, dense and turbulent, respond to gravity's gentle tug. You picture them flowing inward towards centers of mass, colliding, compressing, and heating as they funnel into black holes. Each collision is quiet yet consequential, a soft nudge in the accumulation of mass. TON 618, you realize, owes its rapid growth not just to its own appetite but to these patient processes, invisible architects of the universe. You feel the calm elegance of this engineering, the subtle way matter is guided toward extraordinary outcomes. Mergers of galaxies play a central role in this slow construction. You visualize two spiral galaxies approaching, drawn together by mutual gravity. Stars weave past each other, mostly avoiding collisions, while gas streams toward the center, feeding black holes in bursts of energy and mass. You sense the gentle violence of these interactions, not chaotic, but deliberate, like rivers merging to create a deeper current. Ton 618 may have feasted in such gulps, each merger providing opportunities for accelerated growth while maintaining the rhythm of the cosmos. Dark matter halos form invisible webs connecting galaxies. You imagine threads stretching across vast distances, channels through which matter and energy flow. These halos shape the trajectories of gas and stars, guiding their paths into and around galactic centers. Ton 618 sits at a node of this network, a point where these quiet channels converge, allowing accumulation on a scale that feels almost orchestrated. You sense the elegance in this structure, the way unseen forces sculpt the universe with subtle patience and consistency. You drift closer to the processes themselves. Gas collapses under gravity, forming dense knots that ignite into stars. Some stars live fast, massive, and brilliant, burning through fuel quickly, leaving behind remnants that can seed black holes. Other stars form more quietly, contributing mass slowly over billions of years. Ton 618 benefits from this diversity, a combination of fast and slow feeding, each element a note in the melody of growth. You feel the harmony, the balance between extremes, and sense the universe as a careful, thoughtful architect. Streams of matter spiral inward, not in haste but in persistent, measured flow. You imagine these filaments reaching across space, connecting galaxies, directing gas, dust, and even stars towards central black holes. Ton 618 receives these contributions in a gentle but continuous rhythm, each influx adding to its enormity. You sense the quiet patience of the cosmos, the way small processes accumulate into something extraordinary over time. Growth is not sudden. It is steady, relentless, yet calm. You picture the role of collisions on smaller scales. Clouds of gas compress, generating waves of star formation. Stellar winds and supernovae stir the environment, shaping the distribution of matter, influencing future infall. Each event is a quiet engineer, contributing to the shaping of the black hole indirectly. You feel the layered complexity of this cosmic system, where each element, visible or invisible, plays a role in guiding Ton 618 toward its incredible mass. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. There is purpose, subtle and gentle. The interplay between dark matter and visible matter is delicate yet profound. You imagine dark matter halos providing scaffolding while baryonic matter, the stuff of stars and gas, moves through them, responding to gravity's call. Ton 618 grows within this framework, a beneficiary of structure that predates its formation. You sense the universe as an intricate workshop, where even invisible threads and forces contribute silently to the emergence of extraordinary phenomena. The mechanics are gentle but immensely powerful, shaping reality without haste. You drift farther, noticing the cadence of mergers over time. Galaxies pass near each other repeatedly, sometimes grazing, sometimes colliding, always adjusting, realigning. Each event funnels matter toward centers, feeding black holes' growing structure. You feel the rhythm of these processes, a gentle pulse echoing across billions of years. Ton 618 is not an anomaly separate from these rhythms. It is the result of their culmination, a testament to the quiet patience of cosmic engineering. You consider the cumulative effect of billions of years. Small nudges, flows, and mergers gradually sculpt Ton 618's environment, each contributing a fraction of mass, a whisper of energy. You sense the elegance of accumulation, the way repeated, subtle forces create something monumental without spectacle. Ton 618 becomes not just a point of gravity, but a manifestation of slow, intelligent processes, patient, persistent, and graceful in their execution. You reflect on the invisible symphony at work. Dark matter, gas, stars, mergers, and gravitational flows operate in synchrony, their interactions shaping black holes with precision over unimaginable spans of time. Ton 618 sits at the center of this harmony, a culmination of countless gentle processes. You feel the quiet majesty of this orchestration, the subtle complexity that guides matter into form without haste, a patient shaping that allows extraordinary growth within the laws of physics. You notice that even in the vastness, TON 618 is not isolated. Surrounding galaxies, streams of gas, and dark matter halos all contribute to its formation. Each component operates on its own timeline, yet they converge to create a structure both extreme and elegant. You sense the calm inevitability of these interactions, the quiet engineering that shapes not only black holes but the broader architecture of the universe. There is no rush, only persistent accumulation, guided by the invisible hand of cosmic law. You imagine observing this system from afar. Streams of matter flow with grace, galaxies adjust their orbits subtly, and the black hole grows steadily. Light escaping from near the event horizon carries messages of energy and motion, photons traveling across billions of years to reach curious eyes. You feel that this silent work of accumulation is both comprehensible and mystical, a meditation on the power of subtle forces operating over immense scales. TON 618 is an endpoint of patient engineering, a pinnacle created by unseen hands. You sense the quiet elegance of cosmic timing. TON 618 is enormous, yet it grows according to the gentle rules of interaction and accumulation. You drift among the halos and filaments, absorbing the rhythm of formation, understanding that what appears exceptional is often the natural outcome of patient processes. The universe does not hurry. It allows events to unfold, letting mass, gravity, and energy conspire to create giants. You feel the gentle lesson. Patience, persistence, and subtle guidance can produce wonders far beyond expectation. And as you float in the midst of this cosmic workshop, you sense the next question emerging. How do we, from our small perspective on Earth, observe and measure these quiet architects? How do light, spectra, and telescopes reveal the hidden work of gas, dark matter, and mergers? You drift gently toward this inquiry, letting curiosity remain calm and patient, carrying you forward to Chapter 10. What we see when we look into the abyss. You breathe slowly, absorbing the rhythm of creation, the invisible hands guiding matter into extraordinary form. TON 618 sits at the center of these processes, monumental yet entirely the product of quiet engineering. You feel awe that is meditative, understanding that the universe builds slowly, patiently, allowing time, gravity, and energy to shape giants that stretch imagination itself. And with this gentle awareness, you float toward the instruments that reveal the cosmos, ready to listen to the universe speak through light. You find yourself on a quiet plateau, the night sky stretching endlessly above you. The air is still, and the hum of telescopes vibrates softly beneath your feet. You imagine the giant lenses, sensitive mirrors, and detectors patiently collecting light that has traveled billions of years. Each photon carries a story, a whisper of the cosmos' distant past, and you feel the calm responsibility of listening. TON 618 awaits, far away, its light arriving like a gentle ripple across the vast dark ocean of space. The telescopes point silently at the abyss, their focus unwavering. You imagine yourself stepping inside one, gliding along its mirrored tubes and instruments. Light bends, reflects, and magnifies, revealing what your eyes alone could never perceive. You sense the intimacy of this process, science not as conquest but as gentle attention. Each beam is a messenger, and every measurement is a soft conversation with the universe, a dialogue that requires patience and stillness to understand. You consider spectroscopy, the art of reading light as a story written in colors too faint for human eyes. You imagine splitting the photons like rain through a prism, revealing lines and shifts that whisper of composition, temperature, and velocity. Hydrogen, helium, and heavier elements trace their signatures in the spectrum, allowing you to understand what TON 618 has devoured and what surrounds it. Each spectral line is a note in a melody, a detail of the black hole's life, a soft hint of the immense forces at work. You feel the vast distance separating you from TON 618. Light travels across billions of years, unhurried yet relentless, bringing information from a time when the universe was much younger. You sense that observing this black hole is not simply seeing, but listening to history itself. The more patient and attentive you are, the clearer the story becomes. You feel a meditative rhythm in this dialogue, a gentle interplay between observer and observed, between curiosity and the vast calm of the cosmos. Ton 618 speed and distance are revealed subtly, through shifts in light known as redshift. You picture the light stretching, wavelength by wavelength, as space itself expands beneath it. The stretching is gentle, almost imperceptible, yet measurable with careful instruments. You feel the universe breathing slowly, each photon a pulse in the cosmic rhythm. Ton 618 is not static. It moves within the grand flow of spacetime, a participant in the expansion of everything, and you sense the elegance of this movement in the quiet. Brightness tells another story. The luminosity of Ton 618 is extraordinary, a beacon that defies ordinary scale. You imagine the energy radiating outward from the accretion disk, where matter spirals inward, heating to unimaginable temperatures. Each photon released is a gentle message across the void, a signal of mass, velocity, and power. You sense that these signals are patient teachers, guiding your understanding without urgency, revealing the black hole's secrets one whisper at a time. You feel the interplay of distance, light, and time as a kind of meditation. Observing Ton 618 is not instantaneous. It is a slow act of listening, of allowing information to arrive and accumulate. You sense a rhythm in the universe, in which patience is rewarded with clarity. Every measurement, every spectrum, every photon contributes to the soft unfolding of knowledge. Science becomes an act of mindfulness, a gentle awareness of the cosmos' vast, intricate narrative. Telescopes on Earth are joined by their counterparts in space. You imagine yourself floating among them, observing without gravity, free from atmospheric distortion. The Hubble Space Telescope peers deeply into the past, while instruments on satellites sense X-rays and ultraviolet light invisible to your eye. You feel the universe as layered and textured, revealing different stories depending on which lens you choose. Ton 618 shines in each, offering new insights, gentle clues that accumulate into understanding. You drift into the calculations required to interpret what you see. Distances, masses, and velocities are not guessed. They are derived from careful observation. You sense the quiet discipline of science, each equation a tool to translate photon into meaning, each model a soft bridge between imagination and reality. Ton 618's enormity, the speed of its rotation, the density of its accretion disk, all become comprehensible through this patient translation. You feel reverence for the careful, methodical work that allows humans to understand something so vast and distant. The light you observe is not just a record of the present, but of the past. Ton 618 appears as it did billions of years ago, a young giant in a young universe. You sense the paradox of looking backward in time while observing forward in space. Each measurement is a dialogue across epochs, a gentle crossing of boundaries that stretches your mind while soothing your awareness. You realize that observing the cosmos is both a technical and a meditative act, requiring patience, attention, and openness to wonder. You imagine yourself watching the black hole's accretion disk rotate. Matter spirals inward in a luminous dance, heating as it compresses, radiating energy in every direction. You feel the elegance of this motion, the balance between gravity pulling inward and the pressure of light pushing outward. Ton 618 consumes with intent, yet follows the laws of physics with grace. You sense harmony in the violence, a soft symmetry that transforms raw power into observable patterns. You reflect on the human role in this observation. Astronomers, engineers, and scientists construct instruments, analyze data, and interpret signals. You feel their work as part of the same meditation, a continuation of the universe observing itself through conscious beings. Each measurement is an act of listening, a gentle inquiry into the nature of mass, gravity, and energy. Ton 618 becomes a partner in this conversation, revealing its scale and structure without resistance, allowing knowledge to accumulate slowly, quietly. You notice the subtlety of indirect observation. No one touches the black hole, no probe travels near its event horizon. Everything known comes from the careful reading of light, its bending by gravity, its spectral composition, and its timing. You sense the patience inherent in this method. Observation requires trust in the universe's signals, a willingness to wait for answers. Ton 618 offers itself in pieces, each photon a gentle invitation to understand, a whisper rather than a shout. You drift further, feeling the scales involved. Masses measured in billions of suns, light years traveled in seconds and minutes, velocities approaching significant fractions of light speed. Each is overwhelming when considered alone. Yet combined with patience and observation, each becomes part of a comprehensible pattern. You sense calm in this comprehension, a meditation on scale that transforms incomprehension into gentle awareness. Ton 618's enormity becomes a bridge to understanding, rather than a source of fear. You reflect on the continuity of observation. Past, present, and future fold together in the data collected. Ton 618's light tells a story spanning billions of years, and you, patient and attentive, trace that story softly in your mind. You feel connected across time, a quiet participant in the universe's unfolding narrative. Science here is not rigid. It is an immersive, poetic exploration of reality, a dialogue conducted in the language of light and gravity, patience and curiosity. And as you float beside telescopes on Earth and in space, you sense the next horizon opening. Not just observing the black hole, but confronting the limits of theory itself. How do the equations and models hold up against something as immense and rapid-growing as TON 618? You feel the gentle tension of inquiry, leading you toward the mathematics and predictions that strain under such extremes, ready to explore in Chapter 11. A shadow too large for theory. You breathe slowly, letting the hum of telescopes and the soft glow of distant light fill your awareness. Observation has revealed the scale, distance, and brilliance of TON 618, yet also hints at deeper questions. You drift in calm contemplation, aware that each measurement is part of a larger journey, a patient conversation that stretches across space and time. And with this gentle understanding, you float toward the edge of theory itself, ready to sense where models strain and where the universe quietly defies expectation. You settle into quiet contemplation, letting the enormity of TON 618 sink fully into your mind. Its mass, billions of times that of the sun, stretches imagination and understanding. You sense a tension, a gentle unease in the space between what is measured and what is expected. The equations of growth, the models of cosmic evolution, all strain under the weight of this giant. You drift slowly into the mathematics, not as a rigid exercise, but as a meditative act of curiosity. Black holes grow through accretion, a slow, patient drawing in of matter. Models predict rates of consumption, limits imposed by radiation and pressure, by the pushback of energy against infalling gas. TON 618 exceeds these limits comfortably. You imagine it like a river that flows faster than the channels seem to allow, yet remains contained, following natural laws while surpassing expectation. Its very existence is a gentle rebellion against theoretical constraints, a puzzle that the cosmos presents without urgency. You visualize equations stretching toward infinity. Mass, time, luminosity, each variable expands, bending under the influence of TON 618. The Eddington limit, a guideline for how fast black holes can grow without radiation pressure halting infall, feels inadequate here. You sense the soft tension of theory straining against observation. The universe provides hints, nudges, and partial solutions, yet never rushes to reveal the full explanation. TON 618 sits quietly at the intersection of knowledge and mystery. You think of seed black holes, tiny beginnings that grow slowly over billions of years. Most black holes follow this path, consuming steadily, building incrementally. TON 618, however, seems to have leaped across time, massive from early in the universe's history. You imagine these seeds as small sparks, yet somehow, in its case, a fire roared into being almost instantly. You feel a gentle awe at the improbable efficiency of cosmic growth, a process both natural and astonishing. Accretion disks whirl around TON 618, a luminous halo of matter spiraling inward. You picture gas heated to extreme temperatures, radiating X-rays and ultraviolet light. Each photon escapes after a journey of millennia, carrying information about velocity, density, and pressure. The mathematical models predict the energy output, yet TON 618 shines brighter, heavier, and faster than calculations suggest. You sense the subtle dissonance, not alarming, but contemplative, inviting you to wonder and observe with patience. You reflect on the universality of physics. Gravity, pressure, radiation, all laws apply, yet they are pushed to extremes. TON 618 does not break the rules. It exists at the edge, the outermost limit where models remain valid but strained. You imagine a shadow spreading across theoretical space, where equations tremble beneath the weight of reality. This shadow is not darkness but possibility, a gentle reminder that nature sometimes surpasses expectation without chaos, without malice, simply by being. You drift through the balance of forces at work. Gravity pulls relentlessly inward, while radiation pushes outward. The accretion disk dances between these influences, finding stability in delicate equilibrium. TON 618 has grown beyond what many models predicted possible in the early universe. You sense that every observation, every photon, every measurement is a quiet conversation between theory and reality, a gentle negotiation of what is known and what is yet to be understood. You imagine cosmological simulations, grids of numbers evolving over eons, attempting to replicate black hole growth. TON 618 emerges in these models only under extreme conditions. Rapid accretion, dense environments, perhaps mechanisms not yet fully understood. You feel the beauty of this exercise, a bridge between imagination and observation, between what can be calculated and what can only be intuited. The black hole is a teacher here, showing the universe's capacity to surprise while remaining lawful. You consider the paradox of time and scale. TON 618 is young in cosmic terms yet immense in mass. Typical black holes grow slowly, yet this one achieved extraordinary size rapidly. You drift gently into reflection, imagining the universe as a patient, careful artist, capable of sculpting giants in youth without haste. Models strain not because laws fail, but because conditions were extraordinarily aligned. You sense the universe's quiet creativity, a subtle genius in the combination of density, material, and timing. You notice the limits of observation as well. Even with the most sensitive instruments, details remain elusive. TON 618's event horizon is far beyond direct imaging. Its mass inferred through radiation, light velocity, and emission lines. You feel the meditation in this indirect understanding, the gentle patience required to extract meaning from light itself. You sense that theory, while stretched, is grounded in careful observation, a dialogue between human inquiry and cosmic reality, humble yet expansive. You reflect on the human response to such extremes. Scientists revise equations, adjust simulations, test the boundaries of known physics. TON 618 becomes a catalyst for thought, a soft prod to explore the margins of possibility. You feel this intellectual curiosity as part of the meditation, a quiet excitement not of panic or disbelief, but of mindful exploration. Each challenge is an opportunity to expand understanding, to refine, and to appreciate the elegance of laws under extreme conditions. You imagine standing before a massive diagram, equations flowing like rivers, each term representing a force or limit. TON 618 stretches across this diagram, a shadow cast where numbers begin to falter. You sense that this shadow is not threatening. It is instructive. It reveals where assumptions must be reconsidered, where simplifications fail, where the universe quietly insists that comprehension must evolve. The black hole teaches patience and humility, a lesson in both the power and limits of human knowledge. You picture the scales involved. Billions of solar masses concentrated in a region smaller than a galaxy. Light traveling billions of years to reach your instruments. Energy radiated that outshines countless stars. You sense that comprehension is possible only through patient layering of knowledge, observation, and calculation. TON 618 invites reflection. How can the mind hold such vastness without being overwhelmed? You feel the answer is calm attention, a meditative approach that allows awe to be gentle rather than destabilizing. You consider the implications for cosmology. TUN 618 is a touchstone for understanding black hole formation in the early universe, for revising timelines and growth rates, for exploring mechanisms that may have accelerated accretion. You drift in the gentle acknowledgement that one extraordinary object can reshape expectations, not through chaos, but through quiet persistence and presence. The shadow it casts is not darkness but illumination, highlighting the gaps between theory and reality in a way that deepens understanding. You imagine tracing the edges of this shadow mathematically, exploring where models begin to fail. Each term, each coefficient, each assumption must be examined. You feel the rhythm of this work, the same meditative patience that accompanies observation. The black hole is a partner in this inquiry, a gentle reminder that extremes exist in nature, and that the universe, while lawful, can surprise without disorder. You sense calm curiosity, an attentive mind savoring each insight without hurry. And as you float above the diagrams, the spectra, and the equations, you sense the transition toward lessons learned. TUN 618, by challenging the boundaries of theory, becomes more than an anomaly. It becomes a guide. You feel the universe expanding not in size but in understanding, inviting reflection on growth, scale, and the patient unfolding of complexity. The shadow it casts is not to fear, but to illuminate what is possible beyond initial expectations, a bridge toward deeper comprehension. You breathe gently, letting the tension between theory and observation settle into quiet awareness. TUN 618 remains immense, a shadow across mathematical expectation, yet entirely lawful, entirely real. You sense that the universe has much to teach, and that even the largest, most extreme objects are part of a gentle conversation, revealing complexity through presence rather than violence. The thought emerges softly. What lessons will the cosmos teach when confronted with more such giants? You drift in quiet reflection, letting the enormity of TUN 618 linger in your mind. Its presence is not merely a statistic or a point in a catalog, but a teacher, one that stretches understanding across space and time. You sense that the universe itself learns from these giants, reshaping theories and narratives to accommodate what once seemed impossible. TUN 618 is a catalyst, a monument to patience, accumulation, and the subtle mechanisms of cosmic evolution. You imagine a group of scientists huddled around computers and graphs, their faces illuminated by screens that display spectra, luminosities, and redshifts. They are patient, attentive, listening to the universe as it whispers through light and gravity. TUN 618 challenges every assumption about early black holes. How quickly they form, how massive they can become, and what processes must be in place to allow such growth. You feel the meditative rhythm of discovery, each calculation a brushstroke in a slowly unfolding picture. Models of galaxy formation shift gently under this weight. Simulations that once showed gradual accumulation must now accommodate giants born almost overnight, in cosmic terms. You drift with them through virtual universes, observing streams of gas flowing along filaments, mergers occurring in patterns that accelerate growth, and dense regions collapsing into massive seeds. TUN 618 becomes a guide, a reference point, illuminating the gaps between theory and reality. You sense the universe as patient but insistently instructive, offering data in whispers, not shouts. You reflect on the subtle lessons hidden in this challenge. TUN 618 teaches that the early universe was not uniformly slow or steady. Some regions condensed rapidly, creating conditions where matter could accumulate at extraordinary rates. You imagine dark matter halos acting as scaffolds, galaxies feeding one another through mergers, and gas clouds falling in with perfect timing. Each process, quiet and natural, contributes to the extraordinary outcome. You feel awe for the gentle precision of these cosmic mechanisms. You sense the emotional rhythm of this work. Scientists feel wonder, surprise, and quiet humility as they revise models. Equations bend, simulations recalibrate, and theories expand. You feel that this process mirrors meditation. Observation, reflection, adjustment, and patience. The universe does not hurry, but it provides guidance. Ton 618 is a gentle teacher, showing that even the largest, most extreme phenomena can be understood with attention, care, and curiosity. You drift closer to the concept of feedback. Black holes influence their surroundings, regulating star formation, heating gas, and stirring the interstellar medium. Ton 618's immense mass would have shaped its host galaxy, sending ripples through stars and clouds alike. You imagine the quiet dialogue between monster and environment, each adjusting in response to the other. The universe learns, not consciously, but through these feedback loops, and you feel the elegance of this natural education. You think about timescales. Ton 618 exists as a reminder that the universe's story is not linear, not simple. Events unfold at different speeds in different places, and extraordinary growth can occur where conditions align perfectly. You sense that understanding requires patience. To observe, to measure, to simulate, and to reflect. Each photon carries knowledge of billions of years, and you float in gentle rhythm with that cosmic memory, letting the lessons arrive softly. You visualize early galaxies forming in crowded neighborhoods of the young cosmos. Stars ignite, gas flows inward, collisions occur. In some regions, black holes grow modestly, unremarkable by today's standards. But in a few, conditions combine to produce giants like TON 618. You feel the universe as adaptive, responsive in subtle ways, learning through the results of countless interactions. Ton 618 is not an exception so much as a teacher that reveals what is possible, expanding understanding rather than breaking it. You consider how knowledge accumulates. Observations of TON 618 lead to new hypotheses, which inspire further observations. You drift through this chain of inquiry, sensing its meditative quality. Curiosity flows steadily, accumulating insight, refining understanding. Ton 618's light is not just distant. It is instructive. Each photon contributes to a dialogue that spans space, time, and consciousness. You feel the quiet intimacy of this relationship between human inquiry and cosmic truth. You reflect on the interplay of certainty and mystery. Ton 618 is measured, quantified, understood through equations and light, yet it remains enigmatic. Its mass and rapid growth defy straightforward prediction, hinting at processes not fully captured by current models. You sense the gentle tension this creates. Knowledge expands, but so does wonder. The universe teaches that comprehension and awe can coexist, that learning often comes through gentle confrontation with the unexpected. You feel the patient adjustments that science makes in response. Simulations of early galaxy evolution are recalibrated to include faster growth scenarios, higher gas densities, and more efficient feeding mechanisms. You imagine each adjustment as a ripple across theoretical space, subtle yet significant. Ton 618, in its quiet enormity, reshapes understanding not through force, but through evidence, teaching the universe to accommodate new possibilities. You feel the universe itself growing, not in mass, but in the depth of comprehension it allows. You notice how interconnected everything becomes. Ton 618 is not just a singular phenomenon but a node in a network of cosmic evolution. Galaxy mergers, star formation, gas flows, dark matter distribution, all interact, and all must be considered when understanding such giants. You sense the elegance of this interconnectedness, the soft choreography of forces, events, and time. Ton 618 embodies this harmony, teaching that comprehension arises from the gentle weaving of many threads into a coherent whole. You drift into reflection on the universality of learning. Just as human understanding adapts and evolves in response to new evidence, the universe presents conditions that teach through outcomes. Ton 618 is a teacher without intention, yet its existence necessitates adaptation, in observation, in theory, and in imagination. You feel the meditative rhythm of this learning process, the way knowledge grows incrementally, yet meaning accumulates profoundly. You consider the future of this knowledge. Observations of TON 618 and similar giants will continue, refining models, informing simulations, and deepening comprehension. You drift alongside researchers, floating through data, spectra, and equations, sensing the careful patience of this endeavor. Ton 618 remains a beacon, a giant that guides attention, teaching the universe and its observers alike that extremes can be understood, and that patience transforms challenge into insight. You imagine the universe as a quiet classroom, each black hole, galaxy, and star offering lessons in physics, scale, and patience. Ton 618 stands at the front, monumental yet composed, revealing limits and possibilities with subtlety. You feel the poetic resonance of this, that what seems anomalous or impossible is often an opportunity for learning, a gentle invitation to expand awareness. Ton 618 does not shout. It teaches softly, through presence and consequence. You sense the gentle expansion of understanding itself. As models adjust, as observations accumulate, as simulations improve, knowledge spreads, subtle yet profound. Ton 618's shadow stretches across theory, yet within that shadow lies illumination. The universe is capable of creating giants, and human comprehension is capable of adapting to them. You feel the interplay of humility and curiosity, a meditative acceptance that learning is continuous, patient, and rewarding. And as you float amidst this reflection, you notice the next horizon emerging. Stepping beyond the specific lessons of Ton 618, into the quiet wonder of the universe as a whole, contemplating scale, mystery, and presence itself. You sense the pull of contemplation that stretches past giants, past time, and past even light itself, leading you softly into Chapter 13, the silence at the edge of everything. You breathe deeply, feeling the gentle satisfaction of insight mingled with awe. Ton 618 has taught patience, persistence, and humility, and you sense the universe itself is enriched by its presence. Its light and mass, its quiet extremity, expand understanding, not by force, but by invitation. You drift softly forward, ready to settle into the vast calm beyond, where even the greatest mysteries can be embraced with serenity and wonder. You float beyond Ton 618, beyond the massive gravity well that has shaped your journey. The black hole's light grows faint behind you, stretching and dimming as space expands. You sense the silence that fills the void, not empty but full of possibility. In this calm, you realize how immense the universe truly is, a vast ocean of space and time, carrying matter, energy, and light across unimaginable distances. You feel yourself becoming a gentle witness, a patient observer drifting in the cosmic flow. The stars around you are distant companions, scattered like whispers across the velvet night. You notice their colors, their steady glow, each one a sun with its own story. Some are ancient, fading slowly, while others are newborn, bursting with energy and light. You sense the rhythm of stellar life cycles, a quiet, timeless dance that stretches across eons. Ton 618 is only one player in this orchestra, a singular giant, yet the music continues beyond its influence, subtle and enduring. You reflect on the scale of everything you have observed. Light traveling billions of years, black holes more massive than entire galaxies, energies beyond comprehension. And yet, your mind begins to accept this immensity. You feel a soft expansion of awareness, a realization that the universe's vastness is not something to fear but to admire. Ton 618 was astonishing, yes, but it is part of a larger, harmonious cosmos where mysteries coexist with clarity, and where curiosity guides understanding gently, step by step. You drift toward a distant galaxy cluster, imagining the interactions of countless stars and black holes, gas clouds and dark matter halos. Gravity tugs silently, shaping structures, influencing the flow of matter, yet everything moves in balance, as if following an unseen rhythm. You sense the patient intelligence of the universe, not conscious but profoundly ordered. Ton 618, in its extremity, was a message. Even the most extraordinary phenomena obey laws, and yet inspire reflection and awe. You notice the faint cosmic microwave background, the whisper of the universe's birth, a soft echo that pervades everything. You feel the gentle continuity of time stretching back to the Big Bang, carrying light, energy, and memory across the eons. Each photon is a messenger, each wavelength a subtle story. You sense yourself immersed in this narrative, not as a passive observer, but as a quiet participant in a cosmic meditation that blends awareness with wonder. Ton 618's lesson lingers here, in the continuum of time. You consider the mystery of formation and evolution. Galaxies, black holes, and stars all emerged from the primordial chaos, shaped by forces both gentle and violent. Ton 618 defied ordinary growth expectations, yet you sense that it too fits within the universe's broader logic. The cosmos allows extremes, experiments in scale and possibility, and you feel the comfort of knowing that even anomalies are part of a coherent whole. The universe is vast, yes, but inherently ordered in ways that your mind can gently grasp. You reflect on your journey from the first faint light you followed to the giant that seemed impossible. You sense the rhythm of observation, the patience of watching, measuring, and understanding. Science is a dialogue, slow and deliberate, with the universe as teacher and you as attentive student. Ton 618 was a pivotal chapter, but now the story continues outward, beyond mass, beyond light, beyond anything previously imagined. You feel the calm joy of learning, of being part of this grand exploration. You notice the gentle interplay of forces at all scales. Gravity weaves its web across galaxies, guiding gas and stars, shaping structure without haste. Electromagnetic forces illuminate the cosmos, sending photons that carry messages across time. Even quantum fluctuations leave subtle imprints, a quiet reminder of the universe's fundamental texture. Ton 618 reminded you of scale, of extremity, but here in the calm beyond, you feel the harmony of interactions that sustain the cosmic fabric itself. You drift past clusters of stars, letting your mind slow with each passing light. You sense that understanding the universe is less about reaching final answers and more about inhabiting its rhythms, attuning to its patterns, and learning from the gentle guidance of observation. Ton 618 has been a teacher, but now you let the entire cosmos instruct you, softly, patiently, without urgency. The mind settles into rhythm with space, and you feel a quiet, meditative clarity spreading through your awareness. You imagine floating through empty space, yet noticing how even emptiness carries information. Gravity waves ripple subtly, the faintest traces of ancient collisions pass by, and dark matter holds galaxies in silent embrace. You feel the interconnectedness of everything, the gentle weave of structure, energy, and time. Ton 618 was a node in this grand tapestry, a towering presence that illuminated patterns you might not have seen otherwise. You sense that every observation, no matter how extreme or ordinary, adds to the universe's soft narrative. You notice how small you feel in this vastness, yet paradoxically, how connected. Awareness itself becomes a bridge across time and space. You sense a gentle reassurance. The universe is comprehensible in parts, inviting reflection rather than overwhelm. Ton 618, enormous and defiant, taught you patience, humility, and wonder. Now, in the silence that follows, you feel the continuity of this lesson, a soft pulse guiding thought and awareness beyond scale and measurement. You drift toward a dark void, a region with few stars and almost no light. It feels empty at first, yet you notice subtle hints of structure. Faint gas clouds, distant quasars, the lingering hum of gravitational influence. You sense the universe's quiet persistence, the ongoing work of creation and interaction even in places that seem void. Ton 618's extremity fades here, but its teaching persists. Extremes are part of a continuum, and understanding emerges from observation, reflection, and gentle awareness. You consider time itself. The cosmos stretches infinitely into past and future, carrying histories you have only glimpsed. Each photon, each collision, each pulse of gravity, carries information across this vastness. You sense that understanding is less about conquering knowledge and more about inhabiting it, allowing awareness to drift slowly with cosmic rhythms. Ton 618 has been a guide, But the universe itself invites a softer engagement, one that fosters calm insight and meditative reflection. You notice your mind slowing, settling into a rhythm with the universe. Thoughts of size, scale, and extremity fade into a gentle consciousness of being part of a vast, interconnected whole. Ton 618 recedes from the foreground of awareness, becoming part of the background rhythm, a reminder of possibility and wonder. You feel the gentle oscillation of curiosity and calm, insight and serenity, flowing together like waves across an infinite ocean of space and time. You sense the universe as a teacher, patient and unhurried. Even its greatest mysteries, the black holes, galaxies, and cosmic structures that stretch comprehension, offer lessons in quiet observation. Ton 618 taught scale and extremity, but the cosmos teaches perspective, rhythm, and continuity. You feel a meditative gratitude for being able to observe, to reflect, and to let understanding settle like light across the surface of awareness. You drift further, beyond familiar constellations, beyond the measured distances of stars and black holes. Time stretches gently, space unfolds silently, and you feel the profound calm of cosmic order. Ton 618 has been a guidepost, but now you move beyond, floating in the gentle expanse, aware of being part of the universe's ongoing story. You notice that comprehension, patience, and awe coexist in this quiet place, and that rest is as much a part of understanding as observation. You imagine closing your eyes in this expanse, letting the lessons of light, mass, and time resonate softly within. Ton 618 fades into memory, but the calm awareness it inspired persists. You feel a gentle release from the need to know everything, a soft acceptance of mystery alongside understanding. The universe is too vast to fully grasp, yet perfectly knowable in moments of patient observation, in rhythms of quiet reflection, and in the meditative unfolding of curiosity. You sense the pull of the next cosmic wonder, beyond any single object, beyond mass or light, waiting in the quiet distance. The universe hums softly, carrying whispers of galaxies, black holes, and stars yet unseen. Ton 618 remains a part of this story, a gentle teacher whose lessons continue to echo. You drift in this calm, aware of the infinite possibilities ahead, ready to rest within the vast, serene silence at the edge of everything. And as you settle fully into this gentle expanse, the universe encourages a soft, meditative pause, an invitation to sleep, to dream, and to prepare for the next journey among the stars.